In 2025, over 40,000 Americans packed up and left the US, not for a vacation, but for instant residency abroad. No endless visa lines, no months of paperwork, just approved and living in a new country. So here's the question. If you could wake up tomorrow as a legal resident somewhere else, where would you choose? Because 5 countries are making it shockingly easy for Americans right now. One of them is so affordable and convenient, it almost feels like cheating the system. Let's count them down. 5. Uruguay. Here's a country that doesn't usually top anyone's instant residency list, but maybe it should. Uruguay, tucked between Brazil and Argentina, has become a quiet magnet for Americans who just want life to work. And in 2025, it's offering one of the most straightforward residency tracks out there. According to the Wandering Investor, all you need is a proof of income, about $1,500 a month. That's it. No secret handshakes, no 20 forms stapled in triplicate. Show them you can support yourself, and within 90 days, you can be holding your Uruguayan residency card. And life here? Safe, modern, and honestly, a little underrated. Montevideo is calm but cosmopolitan, with European-style boulevards and cafes where expats spend entire afternoons. The beaches stretch for miles. Punta del Este has been nicknamed the Monaco of South America, except here, you don't need a yacht to enjoy the view. For Americans tired of political noise or constant worry, Uruguay feels like pressing the mute button. The democracy is stable, crime is low, and corruption doesn't run the show. You can actually trust the systems in place. And yes, the wine culture here is serious. If Napa is your vibe, Uruguay's Tanat will feel like home. Uruguay is basically the reliable friend of South America. It doesn't shout, it doesn't show off, but it shows up. And for a lot of Americans in 2025, that's exactly what they want. 4. Portugal. If Uruguay is calm reliability, Portugal is pure charm. In 2025, Portugal simplified its digital nomad visa into a direct path to residency, and Americans are jumping on it. As noted by VFS Global, proof of stable income is the ticket, and once you're in, you unlock something golden: EU residency. That means healthcare, the right to work, and the ability to hop on a train and be in Spain, France, or Italy by dinner. Not bad for a residency card that many applicants are getting approved in months, not years. And it's affordable, at least if you skip Lisbon's trendy core. Porto, Braga, and Coimbra still offer old-world beauty at a fraction of the cost of US cities. You can sip a €1 espresso on a cobblestone street while paying less in rent than you did for your old parking spot back home. Americans are building whole communities here, and you can feel it. Co-working hubs buzzing in Porto, English spoken everywhere, and still enough space to discover your own little corner. But the real hook? Portugal doesn't just tolerate expats, it invites them. The government has rolled out red carpets with streamlined processes, tax incentives, and even support networks for newcomers. It's like the cool cousin who lets you crash on their couch, except their couch comes with Atlantic beaches, pastel de nata, and a EU passport down the line. Portugal in 2025 is playful, welcoming, and surprisingly practical for anyone ready to call Europe home. If you're enjoying this countdown, make sure to hit like. It tells me to keep digging up hidden residency gems. And subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this list, including the country at number 1 that's so easy it almost feels like cheating the system. Number 3. Costa Rica. Costa Rica has a reputation and it lives up to it. This is the place where people come for pura vida and end up never leaving. In 2025, that's easier than ever, thanks to fast-tracked residency programs. The big 2, Rentista and Pensionado. If you've got a pension of at least $1,000 per month, or you can show $1,500 in steady monthly income, you're in. No waiting 5 years, no running a bureaucratic marathon, residency gets processed in months. And once you're approved, Costa Rica isn't just offering you paperwork, it's offering you a whole new pace of life. Imagine mornings that start with howler monkeys in the distance instead of car horns, kids walking to school without fear, a grocery bill that doesn't make you sweat. The comments from many Americans on Reddit shows that the expat community here is massive and welcoming, but it's not just retirees anymore. Remote workers and young families are making Costa Rica their base too, drawn by strong internet, international schools, and, let's be honest, beaches that make Florida look like a sandbox. And healthcare, surprisingly strong, especially when you compare it to US costs. Most expats rave about paying fractions of what they once did. Here's the fun twist: Costa Rica doesn't ask you to buy into a fake dream. It asks you to live simpler, lighter, and happier. People describe it like a friend who hands you a mango smoothie and says, "Stop stressing, life's fine," and somehow it works. For Americans craving calm without isolation, Costa Rica is proof that residency can be as refreshing as the view outside your window. 2. Panama. Panama is like the sibling who grew up fast and decided to be practical. In 2025, it's one of the smoothest, quickest residency options for Americans, and it doesn't hide it. The famous Friendly Nations visa got a facelift, and now US citizens are basically pre-approved. The requirements? Show a job offer in Panama or start a company locally. Either way, the paperwork takes weeks, not years. That's instant in residency terms. And living here? Surprisingly easy. Panama uses the US dollar, so you don't need to juggle exchange rates. The economy is stable and taxes are famously light. Expats love that they can set up bank accounts, buy property, and run businesses without drowning in red tape. The lifestyle balance is what seals the deal. In Panama City, skyscrapers glitter like Miami. But 2 hours away, you've got beaches where you'll be one of 10 people on the sand. Retirees blend in with entrepreneurs. Families live next door to digital nomads. It's a melting pot, but calmer than the US version. And yes, the healthcare is excellent and far cheaper than back home. Schools, infrastructure, even shopping feels familiar, but the cost of living doesn't slap you across the face. Panama is that no-nonsense teacher who says, follow the rules and you'll do fine. And Americans seem to love that. By 2025, thousands are making the move, quietly trading long commutes and high rents for a residency card that opens doors almost instantly. Practical, fast, and surprisingly fun, Panama proves that sometimes the easiest path is also the smartest. 1. Mexico. Mexico is the heavyweight champ of instant residency for Americans in 2025. And it's not just because it's close, it's because it's affordable, flexible, and almost absurdly convenient compared to anywhere else. Here's how it works. If you can show about $2,500 in monthly income, or less if you apply as a household, you qualify for temporary residency. That residency lasts 1 to 4 years, and once it's up, you can flip it into permanent residency. No need to restart the process. The beauty is in the speed. Approvals happen in weeks, not years. Some Americans land, show their paperwork, and walk away with residency lined up before their luggage carousel has even stopped spinning. But convenience is only half the story. The lifestyle perks are what keep people here. Expats are spread across the map. Mexico City for culture and food, Merida for colonial charm and safety, Puerto Vallarta for sunsets and margaritas, and San Miguel de Allende for that artsy small-town vibe. It's like picking your favorite flavor. There's something for everyone. And affordability? Hard to beat. Rent in most cities is a fraction of US prices. Healthcare is shockingly cheap and high quality. So much so that medical tourism is booming. Dining out doesn't wreck your wallet, and everyday expenses feel manageable instead of crushing. Even better, you're never far from home. Want to visit family in the States? A flight from Mexico City to Houston can be shorter than a drive across Los Angeles traffic. That proximity makes Mexico the ultimate low-commitment residency. You get the perks of living abroad without feeling cut off. And here's the fun part. Mexico doesn't just tolerate the American influx, it thrives on it. Expats open businesses, contribute to local economies, and weave themselves into tight-knit communities. The welcome mat is real. Mexico is basically the neighbor who throws the best parties, charges half the rent, and says, yeah, stay as long as you want. For Americans in 2025, it's the easiest residency decision you'll ever make. And that's the real magic. Mexico makes residency so simple, it feels like the door was always open. By the way, I booked my last trip to Cancun for half the usual price. And no, I'm not gatekeeping. I used Expedia, and I've got an affiliate link below that gets you the same deals. No extra cost to you, just real savings. The full toolkit's free on my site, northwiseco.com/ebook. Plan smarter, escape rising costs, and find your ideal destination 100% free. I'm really grateful for your time and attention. I spend hours curating the best info possible and make it fun to watch. If you appreciate that, it would be awesome if you could buy me a coffee so I can caffeine up and keep creating videos like this. Now, I want to hear from you. If you had to choose one of these countries to start fresh, which would it be and why? Drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the channel for exclusive perks. And next time, we'll uncover why Americans are quietly relocating to 3 African countries in 2025. And trust me, the reasons will surprise you.